So the main thing, I think Arcane Season 2, I'm very excited for. I did a deep dive on the Arcane Season 2 trailer. What's really cool for me is the fact that they've already said that they're going somewhere else. And I don't even know if it's going to be called Arcane, but the next season of whatever the Runeterra Netflix series is not going to be Piltover and Zon. It's going to be somewhere else. This was confirmed in like an interview. They were talking about like what's the future, and they're like, yeah, we pretty much told this story, but there's plenty of other stories they want to tell.
Oh wow, okay, so like season 1 of Arcane was pretty conclusive then, you would say?
So season 1 and season 2 are both Piltover and Zon. Like the next season's coming out, that's also going to be Piltover and Zon. It's supposed to. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be season 3 of Arcane, or it's going to be a separate show set in Runeterra and be like a different name, because Arcane is a pretty good name for that one because of Hextech and its ties to magic. So that kind of makes sense, unless they're just going to keep it called Arcane and then it'll be season 3 and like a different area. I'm not really sure how they're going to do it.
Yeah, I would think it makes more sense then for them to give it a new name. I would hope they do that. I mean, like, I understand them maybe wanting to, keep like the popularity of the show going to call it Arcane, but if it's going to be set in a new place and the name's no longer related, then you just start expanding on the universe. Make that whole universe, multiple TV shows. I don't see why not.
Yeah. And so they can obviously spin it off, right, and expand it out to different places. The real question that I was asking online is where people think we're going to go next. And I got a different answer from Reddit than I did from Twitter. So I did the poll. Yeah, so I did the poll. I included, I said, do you think we'll go to... One of them I said was Noxus. The other one I said was the Freljord. Do you think we're going to do a Chemivore Shadow Isles one? Or I think I put Demacia. It's limited. You can't put everywhere. But those are the ones that I listed. And on Twitter, people lean towards Noxus. And on Reddit, people lean towards the Chemivore Shadow Isles with Viego and Callista and, going to, the Blessed Isles at the time and that kind of thing. So going pretty far back and telling that story.
Well, ideally, what would actually get me to watch a TV show would be if we get Viego in the Blessed Isles. I would watch that. I would actually sit down and watch a TV show. But my guess is that they're going to keep it modern universe and not so much history of like stories that already kind of exist. Yeah. Honestly, I was thinking Ionia is a big contender. I'm surprised you didn't bring that one up in your list.
So I'll explain to you why I chose these places. So Shadow Isles
I'm curious.
Blessed Isles is because Viego is one of the greatest characters in Runeterra. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why I don't want him to get ruined, and he's under threat of possibly getting ruined. And it's in my video that's coming up. Yeah. So I chose Noxus because Noxus actually shows up a lot in Arcane Season 1, and it's going to play a big part in Season 2. So you see Ambassador Medarda, yeah. She's like Mel's mom, who's from Noxus. They're literally from Noxus. And Noxus is obviously, with Hextech coming out, being made into weapons, Noxus wants to get their hands on it. And you literally see Noxus coming in and being like, Piltover been too soft with Zon. Because Piltover, like, really all they use is basically police. That's their army. And they're, compared to like a Noxian army, is not the same thing. And you can see in the trailer for Season 2, like, Noxus is coming in and they're putting a heavy foot down on Zon. After the explosion at the end of Season 1, a little bit of spoilers, but there's an explosion at the end of Season 1 with Jinx, and Noxus coming in and putting a heavy hand. You even see you see in like multiple times the Immortal Bastion. It's like a painting that Mel does. So there's tons of references to Noxus, and then you literally see a Noxian army in the trailer for Season 2. So I could see this like extending out to Noxus, since we've already seen so many ties to it.
How interesting. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that then. Because I think, we also need to think of the perspective of like what they have now is a very popular show with locations and characters that a lot of people only know from the show. So I could see them smoothly transitioning over to Noxus then, since people will already be familiar with it.
Yeah.
Because this reaches such a big audience. It's crazy. It's so far outside of the regular small Runeterra lore community that we got. So like, I feel like that's a really important thing to keep in mind. So I see why you chose Noxus then.
Yeah, since you've already seen some parts of it, that it'll be a place that people already are aware of. And I think
Yeah.
that's what Twitter people thought too, that like Noxus makes Nexus the next leap because we've already seen parts of it in the season 1 and 2 of Arcane. I chose Demacia because, like you said, they're sticking with like the people stuff. Like, I don't think we're gonna
Yeah.
go to Shurima and start seeing the giant bird guy leading everyone. I think people are gonna be like, "What the heck is this?" There's really just,
Dude, when are we gonna get our Skarner season? I just want to
yeah,
see
go to
giant
show.
bug people having conversations underground.
Yeah, that's kind of something that I think would be cool. But then I do think that you're right that we're gonna stick to like the human stuff, and that's why I also
Yeah,
picked
it's
the
gonna be very
Freljords. I
like,
feel like it's human, but then there's like the god level beings like Ornn and Volibear, who people can at least understand. You know, like Greek mythology type gods, like Norse mythology.
they are.
Like, that makes sense.
Yeah,
They're
Ornn and
relatable.
Volibear are very much like Greek mythology. They very much feel that way. I think it's just
Yeah.
because of how like prideful and spiteful they are.
Yeah.
Which is like Greek god in a nutshell.
Yeah, and you have Aurora coming out too in League of Legends, and she's very much related to Ornn. I don't have a video on her yet, but I'm gonna work on one after I finish the Viego video that I'm working on now. But Aurora looks very cool, and she's a Vistaya from the Freljord.